We're going to go to Congressman Claudia Tenney of New York, Congressman Byron Donalds of Florida, two of the most effective and famous House members. It's a pleasure to see you both. Claudia, I'm not kidding. You're both really effective. Claudia, start with you on the news. We're hitting Syria. We're hitting Iraq. What's your take?
Well, I hate to agree with everyone, but these are late. They should have been done more decisively, as President Trump did. But, you know, it's the policy that President Biden has taken towards Iran to try to get back into the failed nuclear agreement, also to allow sanctions to be lifted on the Iranians so they could sell up to $80 to $90 billion worth of oil, mostly to China, by the way, so that they could continue to fuel the proxies, us with the Houthis, with Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah in Jordan and Lebanon. So, you know, it's the policies that we're seeing that have caused this unrest in the Middle East. We had relative peace, as you know, under President Trump. We had the Abraham Accords. So we're on the cusp of adding a normalization agreement with Saudi Arabia to that when these strikes occurred by the attack on October 7th. So it is the policies, but I hope that they certainly have a lot more lethal response prepared against Iran. But unfortunately, we put ourselves in such a bad position against Iran that we need to really come back with much more aggressive force.
Byron, you know, to Claudia's point, let's say you don't want military involvement in Iran, all right? Whether I agree or disagree with that, let's just assume. But you could restore the economic sanctions, which they have essentially unbound. That's the problem here. And as Claudia said, that's where the money's come from. Or let me be blunt, they're selling oil to China. And it's coming to in the neighborhood of $50 or $60 billion. And there are other issues on top of that that have given him a foreign exchange reserve position that's gone from about $3 or $4 billion to $80 billion in just 3 years. In other words, there's a military issue, military solutions, Byron, but there's an economic solution. And it just doesn't look like they're going to do either. And that's what I find so troubling. What say you?
Well, Larry, good to be back with you. I agree with everything that Claudia said. And Larry, I agree with your premise. The number one way to deal with the Iranians, if you don't want to step on their soil, is you have to cut them off economically.
Yeah.
Donald Trump had them cut off economically. He had them really having to scrap things together for that economy. And then they couldn't put money into these proxy fighters throughout the Middle East. That's what's causing so much of the problem. These strikes should have occurred later that same day when our service members were killed.
Yes.
And look, we got to be honest. Some of these targets are already understood by the Pentagon. The question wasn't, were we going to respond? The real question was Joe Biden going to get himself together and get focused on America's security in order to respond quickly and decisively? That is the core problem here. And the weakness that they've shown with respect to Iran has really empowered them in the region. The economic sanctions are critical if we're going to put them back in the box.
Yes, sir. Couldn't agree more. Well, Claudia, I'd wanted, you know, the original booking here, I wanted you to talk about the Nobel Peace Prize. You're saying a friend of mine deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. I know you're not going to give me an economics Peace Prize, but you're going to give Trump a Peace Prize. I think he deserves it.
I agree. And I nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize because of his work on the Abraham Accords. It's actually never has been such an effective peace accord. And every other participant in peace accords in the past, whether it was Jimmy Carter and others, received a Nobel Peace Prize for this. Of course, they're not going to give it to Donald Trump, who richly deserves this. And I thought it should be noted, as I meant, we had relative peace in the Middle East. We are on the way to prosperity. The normalization agreements created by the Abraham Accords and the number of countries that wanted to get in there and be part of these accords is really groundbreaking. Instead of waiting for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to resolve itself, which everyone, including John Kerry, said was the only way to peace, Donald Trump took the novel approach. Let's try getting everybody else to relative peace, and then we can have some strength against the problem, which is was created by the PLO, funded by Iran, as Byron accurately pointed out. All of this money that Iran is using and getting, because of the lift in the economic sanctions, the elimination of the maximum pressure campaign, which was also part of Trump's secret sauce in order to keep peace in the Middle East. These people in the Middle East were seeing prosperity. And that is why, and it's a very short nomination, but that is why I think President Trump should be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize just for his work on the Abraham Accords alone. They were novel, they were unique, and they were revolutionary. It really made a difference in the Middle East. And look where we are now.
Yep.
President Biden reversed all of Trump's successful policies, and now here we are in a war.
Byron, can I switch gears for 1 second? 5,000 illegals a week, 8,000 illegals a week, or a day, or whatever, just strikes me as a lousy deal. And I'm hoping that whatever legislative text may or may not come out this weekend, that thing doesn't pass the House. Can you give us your take on this so-called immigration bill?
Well, Larry, look, what was released about a week or so ago about the headline number, you stated it, 5,000 a week, is just outrageous. That's 150,000 immigrants into the country a month. That's 1.8 million per year. I mean, where are you going to stick all these additional people? Denver, Colorado's overrun. Boston, Massachusetts, overrun. Chicago, overrun. New York, you see the mess going on there, overrun. You can't put that much more people into the United States the way the Biden administration has done. It's a terrible deal. And I know our Republican Senate colleagues tried to negotiate in good faith. But when you see just the idiocy coming from the Democrats, you got to get up from the table, walk away and said, listen, just follow the House's lead and pass H.R. 2 because we're done with you, because you're not being serious. You cannot do 5,000 entrants a day, Larry. Even Jay Johnson under Barack Obama said if you do 1,000 a day, it's a crisis.
Yeah. By the way, Jay Johnson's a pretty good guy. Can I just say that? I know him a little bit. I've always had good relations with him. He's a pretty smart guy. Some people who play for the other team can still be smart. It's not personal. Anyway, Claudia Tenney and Byron Donalds, you're both fabulous.